36 years after the deaths of two young men in France, both victims of police brutality against people of North African origin, a film entitled Nos Frangins opens to the public. The film focuses on the wave of police brutality in France against people of North African origin during the 1980s. Malik Ouskin, like everyone else, I think it was the first name we heard. Malik Ouskin. It's the first name we put on a racist and police crime. He was a figure. From Malik Ouskin onwards, we started to name them. Before they were killed, if I may say so, but they were not named. Both victims were French citizens killed in two separate incidents on the same night. Both saw their place in French society questioned because of their ethnic origins. I had to understand who this girl was, because the Ouskin family was a French family who had their origins thrown back in their faces, because for them it was impossible. For Mohammed, it was impossible that his country, France, would turn against him.
Que son pays, la France, se retourne contre lui.
Last May, the film was warmly welcomed at the Cannes Film Festival.
Non mais ouais, juste une dernière chose. Allez, après tac, on passe à la suite. Un film comme celui-là n'aurait pas pu se faire.
A film like that could not have been made a few years ago in France. Simply could not have been made. And the other films you mentioned, the magnificent film by Samir, it suddenly exists. So I think that this thing is a real optimistic note with regard to how France is represented in its cinema.
Par rapport à comment la France est représentée dans son cinéma.
The film Nos Frangins, Our Brothers in English, will represent Algeria in the Oscars.
Clashes between M23 rebels and the Congolese army have displaced tens of thousands of people in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Living near the road leading to Goma, the displaced are facing starvation and often have to fight for the meager ration distributed by the NGOs and the Congolese government. I'm always thinking of my children and even grandchildren. Where are they? I'm starving here, and I don't know where to find food. The most vulnerable have settled near the roadside, parked inside tents cobbled together from sticks and tarpaulin on the field of lava spouted from the looming volcano Mount Nyiragongo. They have so many problems. They have disease problems such as malaria, fever. There are those who have diarrhea problems, even cholera. The DRC was already the second country with the highest number of displaced persons, and this year alone, over 1.3 million, more than 90% in the east of the country. According to the International Organization for Migration, IOM, figures from late November, over 140,000 people are camping in the Nyiragongo area, north of the city of 2 million, or sleeping in churches and schools. Fighting in the province has displaced about 370,000 people by November, compared to about 90,000 in late October.
For these residents of the Democratic Republic of Congo's war-torn east, after the shock of exile comes the plight of displacement. Bahati Bashubage was driven out of his home by the clashes between the Congolese forces and the M23 rebels. He salvaged his sewing machine and has improvised a workshop in the camp where he found refuge. It was very difficult to flee and to get here, as I am physically disabled. A man helped me carry my sewing machine, but once here in Kanyaruchinya, the suffering started. The entrance of the camp has become a grazing area. 6-year-old Batale Kibombo Joseph only wishes for peace to prevail as diplomatic efforts towards de-escalation continue. I just want peace to return, and I hope to return to my village with a cow or two. There I will keep them in the pasture, and they will drink water, they will eat and survive. Here, cows die every day. If the ones I have left spend another 3 days here, I will have nothing left at all. Thousands of people displaced by the war are trying to make a living in the town located north of the provincial capital Goma. They operate small businesses or raise and sell the cattle they fled with. Displaced people arrived here with their cattle from Rugari and Kibumba, and because of the climate in Kanyaruchinya, some animals have fallen ill and are dying every day. As a result, the displaced people slaughter them. They make kebabs and others eat them without worrying about the illness the animal had. Despite aid efforts, many displaced people complain of hunger. The rebels, whom DRC accuses Rwanda of backing, have been occupying localities, worsening the humanitarian crisis.
The secretary of the Bar Association in Chad announced lawyers would appeal the prosecution of the October 20th demonstrators. Last Monday, a court sentenced 262 people out of 401 arrested following deadly protests last October. They were deported. Now they have been convicted and some have been released, so they say. But that does not mean that the procedure was followed. What we are criticizing as human rights defenders, as the bar, is the procedure that has been biased. It's a parody of justice. So the lawyers are going to have to appeal to get justice. I hope the appeal judges will follow the law. Around 50 people, including 10 members of the security forces, died when police opened fire on demonstrators in the capital N'Djamena on October 20th. The son of a former president of Mozambique, along with 2 former intelligence chiefs, was sentenced this Wednesday to 12 years in jail for graft. The case relates to a hidden debt contracted by the government in 2013 and 2014. In accordance with the provisions of Articles 102, subparagraphs 1 and 97, both of the Penal Code of 1986, the accused, Armando Ndambi Guebuza, is sentenced to a single sentence of 12 years of major prison, 12 years in prison and a fine of 102,000 meticais. Former Finance Minister Manuel Chang, who signed off the loans, has been held in South Africa since 2018, pending extradition to the US for allegedly using the US financial system to carry out the fraudulent scheme.